Have a seat when you get a chance. Yeah, go ahead. So, the panel can have a seat.
It might be easier to give. Might be easier to give them the stick, and you wear the lock.
Careful.
I think so because the stick is more intuitive.
Go ahead.
See how that goes.
Shall we get started?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. Are we live? We look live. I see a red light. That's good. And I'm too loud. Look at that. Who would have thought? So welcome, everybody. This is Ultralight Startups. If you're here for the Pizza Eaters Anonymous, you are in the wrong place. My name is David Carlos. I'll be your host for tonight. I want to introduce you all to the Emperor of Entrepreneurship, the Sultan of Startup, the Ultra in Ultralight Startups, Mr. Graham Lawler. He is the one who's responsible for all this. Big round of applause, please.
Thank you very much, David. Wow. What an honor.
Yeah, well, you know, you can never be too well introduced, right? So I'm actually going to turn it over to you so you can kind of point us in the right direction because I have no idea what's going on.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much, David. So let's see. What should we talk about here? This is the format of Ultralight. So for those of you who have been... This is also very loud, isn't it? How do I turn this down?
No idea. Try that.
1, 2, 3. Is this better? Slightly?
Here we go. I found it.
Down there. So for those of you who have been to an Ultralight Startups before, but not within the past, say, 3 months, you might be familiar with a format that involves startups pitching to the audience, and then a pizza break, and then a panel discussion. Here at the new format of Ultralight Startups, we have compacted all of that into one session. So we have startups that are pitching to a panel of esteemed investors that you see over here to your left. And we'll have 10 startups pitching. We'll also be doing a pitch contest, which we'll tell you about. And then we're going to drinks afterwards about 2 blocks away at Murphy and Gonzalez. So that's the format. I would like to introduce our panel here. So starting immediately to my right, at the right end of the panel, is John Ason, who is the professional angel investor at Kewpie Associates. And next we have Brian Cohen, who is the vice chairman of New York Angels, and he's also founder and CEO of Launch It, which he may be telling you about. Paul Sciabica, who is the executive director of New York Angels, and Jonathan Stillman, So maybe we'll start with John. You want to talk about what Kewpie is and your investments? Absolutely.
Okay. I came out of Bell Labs, spent 25 years there, made money in the stock market, so I quit. I became an angel investor. Since then, I've done 40-plus startups. This year's been very hectic. I've did 6 new companies in May and 3 more in September. My cardiologist is telling me to slow down. Okay. My most famous companies are Bikini.com and Diapers.com, one of which was sold for $545 million. In terms of startups, I do early seed, pre-revenue type companies. I have several requirements. The first is that the ages of the founders has to be less than my age. Okay? And the problem I have is there's companies now with 3 founders that qualify. And the other requirement is that the time to liquidity has to be less than my life expectancy. Okay? Okay, so I'll do anything except medical, biotech, or green. So you want more information, go to my website, johnason.com. If you want to submit a one-page executive summary, send it to hope@johnason.com.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yeah, hi. I see a lot of familiar faces. Paul and I will double team this since the Angels are a collection of 80 of us. We spend a lot of our time looking at, on a monthly basis, what do you say? How many companies apply to us on a monthly basis? About 50 companies a month. We do our screenings at the beginning of the month. We narrow that down to about 3 companies for a breakfast on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. We've been doing this for a long time. We've put about $45 million into about 70 companies, the largest seed investors in New York City. We have grown the Angels to about 80 investors looking broadly. We looked at men's T-shirts yesterday. By the way, I just have to say, you said diapers and bikinis, so that's a new, what is that, location-based investing? Location-based investing? Okay, I got that.
Some of us got it. It's okay.
Got it, okay.
We're laughing on the inside.
All right. We tend to spend a lot of time mentoring. We have a wonderful relationship with Graham. He supports us. We support him. We're building out a much larger network of angel investors so that we can fund entrepreneurs as quickly as we can, since that's really the entrepreneur's interest, so they don't have to run around too much. We really love participating in these events, and we're really open. We have our education meetups ever so often. We just had one about 3 weeks ago. And you're all welcome to come to our education meetups, sort of like our open house, so you can hang out and rub shoulders with a bunch of the angel investors. But we enjoy very much being in a position to support your efforts in any way, shape, or form for making you a success. Did I miss anything?
No. This is Brian's 3rd ultralight panel, so he's in the top echelon of the pyramid of people who have appeared at ultralight most frequently.
Hey, I'm John Stillman. My background is in software technology. I've been involved in software research for GE's corporate research labs for a number of years, and more recently have been actively involved in venture investing and also some angel investing, as well as being an entrepreneur, software entrepreneur. So I kind of have the dubious advantage of seeing both sides of the street at the same time, both how hard it is to get funding and how hard it is to fund companies at the early stage. So I think in general that's helped me have a pretty balanced look at both feeling the pain of investors and the pain of entrepreneurs. Very recently I've been involved in a new group here in New York called the Worldwide Investor Network, in which we kind of scour the planet for really attractive looking international startups or early stage companies. We screen out or filter in the very best that we see and do a lot of work grooming them and helping them refine their business models and presentation capabilities, and then present them to investors in a bi-monthly event here in town. And that's been a lot of fun to work with companies and entrepreneurs from different parts of the world with really attractive business plans and business opportunities.
Fantastic.
You know, John, you say you participate in the pain on both sides, but you also get the joy, the pleasure. You get
that happens every once in a while too. I forgot about that part.
Didn't want you to suffer too much. All right.
Awesome. So let's go over the pitch format.
Okay. Oh, this is where I get to shine. All right. So the format for pitches. We're going to start out 2 minutes, and I know you can all read, but I like to say it anyway. We're going to do a 3-minute Q&A from the panel. So it's kind of, for those of you who've been to Ultralight in the past and you've seen a lot of this, short and lots of people and going back and forth, it's a little bit different. Here we're going to present to the panel because these are our esteemed experts, and we want to give them an opportunity to ask questions of the pitchers. We might even take some questions from the audience depending on the time. And then once those questions have been answered, you guys will have 3 minutes, about 45 seconds each, to answer those, or to give advice about the pitches that you've seen and to respond to those questions that you've gotten answered. Beyond that, we're going to ask, if anybody is asking a question, and this always comes up, so I might as well say it now, remember to form your question. Do you have a slide on this?
I'm not sure if
Maybe.
I do.
Well, it's okay even if you don't. Your question should meet 3 criteria. 1, it should be under 10 seconds to ask. 2, it should end with a question mark. And 3, it should be alone in its oneness. There are no follow-up questions. There are no clarifications. There are no extra little, but I just want, nope, none of that. So we're trying to keep it very precise. You guys you have more leeway. It's okay. Then as far as voting, we are doing a contest. So we want to make sure that everybody knows how to vote. We're going to be voting for both. Are we doing? We're doing the panelists too?
Yes.
All right, we're sticking with that. Okay, you guys are on the line here. So we're voting not only for the best pitch, but we also want to get your feedback on who is giving, I don't want to say best. It's too competitive. Who's giving the most useful feedback to the panelists, to the pitchers, because we want to encourage you guys to give your best.
One of the 4 of you will come away tonight with the glory of winning the
glory.
Yes, the Audience Choice Award at Ultralight Startups. So place your wagers now.
Okay, so tell them how to vote.
And the voting is done over Twitter, and each tweet can be a vote. You vote by using the hashtag Ultralight, #Ultralight, and the handle of the person that you're voting for. Right. So if you're voting for a startup, you use #Ultralight and that startup's Twitter handle. If you're voting for a panelist, #Ultralight and the panelist handle, and you can find all those in the guides that you're given, and also
we'll throw them up on the screen
in front of them, and we'll show them on the screen as well. Should be no difficulty finding out how to vote. So here's what happens when you win.
Ooh.
So you win credits from Amazon Web Services, $200. You also win media training from Media Training Worldwide, which is not mentioned on this slide. And as of last month was the first time we have a prize of the top 3 winners of the pitch contest get to go to a screening event at New York Angels, which Brian has just told us all about.
That's big.
So that's fantastic. And the top 5 or the top single panelist wins the prize of the Audience Choice Award, the glory of the award.
The microphone. Let me borrow your microphone for a second. See, this isn't going to be as much fun because now I have a lav and I can't do that thing where I talk away from the microphone, nobody can hear me. But when you're talking on the microphone, when you're pitching, this is for your pitchers out there, I got to come up with a new one because I always use the same things. But, okay, this is your girlfriend or boyfriend. You want to make out with this mic. You're going to get really close and intimate. Okay, well, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, small Yorkshire Terrier that you like making out with, this is something you want to keep close to your mouth, close to your face. Keep it right here. You don't have to yell. It makes it nice and easy for everybody to hear you, and the people out in the Ustream world can hear you as well, because even if you can hear me here, I got the lav, but they can't hear what I'm saying clearly without it. So, that's the microphone.
Okay. With that, we're going to call down our first 2 pitchers, Yuri and Ilya. So to pitch, you're going to stand right there. There's an X on the ground.
That's your mark.
And you have a microphone right here. And then Ilya, who's on deck, is going to stand maybe somewhere like over there. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
And go.
Hello everybody, my name is Yuri Bakumenko and I'm a co-founder of MobilizeToday.com. To start, let me remind you 3 major trends that change the world and the way we access the web. The first one is the number of smartphones that will be shipping till the end of this year will increase the share of smartphones for 30% globally. The second one is number of households that have the only mobile device to access the internet is increasing right now, and it's from 20 to 60% around the globe. The third one is the number of web requests from the smartphones is increasing on a day-to-day basis, is already from 10 to 30%. So what the problem we're going to solve is the increase and retain your customer base in a mobile era. Currently, the typical bounce rate for the good websites is from 20 to 30%. And for the mobile web visitors, it is from 70 to 80%. To decrease the bounce rate and to increase your customer base, you need to optimize your desktop website. So we developed our platform to help you with this goal. We launched months ago. We have already hundreds of customers who optimize desktop websites into the mobile. We have a freemium business model. So you can start for free with no hassle, with no credit cards required. And we have a number of paid features that will give you ability to increase your website accessibility. And for today, we announce a free homepage optimization that we do for you, plus 20% discount for those who vote for MobilizeToday.com today. Thanks.
And you've got 18 seconds left. Good job. All right. So now, questions from the panel.
So what
do you do?
So we have a platform for our customers that helps them to do the mobile optimization of their website. So if you have a desktop website, let's say you have a business, and we have a number of showcases, you can take a look at the number of websites. If you have a desktop website, you need to make it mobile. You go to us, you register a website, and you convert your desktop website into mobile.
But that's a conversion from desktop to mobile. If you optimize, what is optimizing mobile?
So what does optimizing mobile mean?
Optimizing mobile means that your mobile device will see your website from a best perspective. Like, given this example, for example, you see that the information from a website is represented in a way that you can scroll, you can read on your mobile device, in a way that you will get the content faster, you will get the content that you can read.
So are you doing the conversion from...
Absolutely. That's what our platform does.
You didn't say that.
Well, it's our platform that does the conversion. We don't do it personally, right? So it's a system that does a conversion, and you as a customer is registering our website and using our platform to do this.
There are a number of services that perform, at least to my understanding, fairly similar operations that take a traditional website and optimize it for presentation on various mobile devices. So how do you distinguish yourself from them?
I think there are three factors. The architecture, so we have flexible architecture that can be used as a small businesses as well as enterprises. So we can buy a license and deploy to your own infrastructure. Let's say your enterprise customer that doesn't want to show any information for outside the world. So you can buy the license and use it. Number 2 is price and quality. So our business model is optimized for the small businesses as well as an option for the big enterprises with the same quality.
Okay, 1 minute left.
And I just find that you've got too many things going, too many features, too many things you're trying to do. There's just too many moving parts in this. So it's hard to see how you can get into any hyper-growth phase.
Is there a question in that?
Thank you.
What about HTML5? You haven't mentioned anything about HTML5.
The HTML5 is one of the features that you get for free, and the HTML5 already here means is that your mobile phone will be able to render the website in a best way.
Are you encouraging people to move to HTML5?
It is a trend that currently happens. What we do, we help.
Are you encouraging? That's part of optimizing.
We are encouraging. We are helping businesses to get HTML5 ready now, so without waiting.
So they could be across all platforms, right?
That's right.
Okay. Feedback. We've gotten the questions.
So this is helpful, constructive advice. Not
Yes.
like whether you think it's a good idea, but like what can he go home and do tomorrow to make it better? Improve his likelihood of a successful exit or getting funding or something like that.
What I would do is I would prune maybe 70 to 80% of the company and do something unique or specific. He's going to increase the bounce rate or improve the bounce rate. If you can focus on that and actually do that, you can have a very valuable company. I think what you've got here is more of a job shop kind of a company, a consulting job shop type. You don't have the growth potential in this type of scenario.
Okay. Thanks.
It sounds like you're in the service business, right? This is not something that the average user does themselves, right? You haven't set it up that way.
The platform as a service, and we have different customers. We have from high-end e-commerce customers who have the development team on their premises, to the small business owners who have just a web page and they need to do optimization and they do it through our platform themselves. So it's a self-service.
Right. You see, as investors, you got to let us know. We rarely invest in service companies. They're very hard to scale, as my associate said. So if you are in the service business, that's not good. You have to make sure you understand that relative to our interests, it's SaaS-based or some kind of do-it-yourself type of environment so that people can modularly just move it over themselves. But it's not clear what you are.
Thanks.
I think that you could do more to create in the audience a sense of why this is an important problem. Not just bounce rates. That's a start, but there are lots of things that don't work well in the world that don't work poorly enough that people are really scrambling to fix them. So if this really is a big and ugly problem for your potential customers, make that clear early on. It's really important that you make clear that this is not just another problem that can be solved, but this is a problem that people are clamoring for, or that there's great expense in solving another way, and you've got the answer. I concur about how much of this is automated versus manual, and if some of it's manual, is it manual for you or is it manual for your clients? That was not clear at all. And on the competition side, I know it's tough to get all this into a very short pitch, but this is stuff that is going on now at some level. So if you are different and in some way have some either intellectual property or some secret sauce that makes you differentiated and able to stay that way, really important to say that. Otherwise, you leave us scratching our heads as to whether this is something that's just yet another solution, or if it's a solution that might be better today but not 6 months from now, so on and so forth.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Yuri.
Thank you.
So to vote, can we hear me? To vote for Yuri, it is pound ultralight and at MobilizeToday. And to vote for our panelists, you have their various Twitter handles. I'm not going to necessarily read them all off right now, but they've given some great advice, so I encourage you to vote for them. So now, next up, we'll have Ilya, and on deck we have Kelsey. So, Ilya,
right here.
Here's your mark. X marks the spot. Yep, and I'll bring your. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I don't think the volume is gone.
Okay.
Say one.
So you give me 1 second. You don't want volume?
Don't want volume.
So your video should not make noise. No noise for you. Come back 1 year. Okay. You're on.
Thank you. We live in a pretty narcissistic society, and it's especially true for the 50 million people in the 18 to 35 demographic who consider the pursuit for self-attainment and self-realization as a driving force in their lives. Technology nowadays has enabled us to connect to social and professional networks, and people focus on building their personal brands and relationships with others. People turn to technology to organize their lives better. Another undisputed fact is that when it comes to the way we project ourselves onto others, people are really lousy self-evaluators. We believe there's an opportunity to address the market and help them reach their desired objectives by learning how they're perceived by other people. And in an easy-to-use and quick format that builds their personal brand and enhances their relationships with friends, in school, and at work. We believe there's an opportunity to bridge the gap of self-awareness by using technology and science to deliver our social service to our target audience. So how do we do it? We created categories based on the perceptions people have of themselves, or the answers they might be looking for. Using technology, we introduce questions that reflect these selected categories, but it's inherently a very personal context and based on actual feedback from peers that really matter to us. Our deliverable is an apples-to-apples comparison that compares your self reflection with the way other people actually see you. And
all right, that's your time. So you're going to have to use some of your question time to try and get some of this clarification. So, to our panelists, I'm sure you have lots of questions. Go ahead.
So how does this fit in the world of Facebook? Is it sit outside of Facebook? Is it a widget in Facebook? Does Facebook matter at all?
We launched in an alpha site about a year ago, and so we've tested user engagement and created validity to create validity behind our methodology. What I'm saying is that currently it lives on its own as its own website. Facebook is the next step. Obviously, it has to live in the world of Facebook as a Facebook app, the same way that it has to live in the world of mobile and in the world of the apps.
How do you hope to make money with this?
People are willing to pay for the service. Our research shows that between 25 and 30% of our users are willing to pay $5 or more for this service. The benefits are both inherent and strategic in helping people create stronger bonds and really create and build their personal brand in a very physical world that's tied directly to their actual peers, people that really matter to them.
Is there a professional side to this, or is it just friend to friend?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? In the way we created it, or in the way it's applied?
Is there a way, in businesses today, they do 360 reviews of people, right? You're familiar, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you didn't mention anything about any element that's associated with the B2B. Is there one?
Very good question. Currently, what you're seeing here is more of a lighter version in a sense that it's kind of more of a B2C. It has some social components. What does Lucy think about me? And it has some professional components. What brand do I present at my next job interview? The evolution of the product is in the recruiting space and in the HR space. The recruiting space is actually something that's happening immediately. There's a lot of interest that I'm discussing with a few companies on trial basis. The HR space is something that the product has to mature to based on the analytics that will be supported on the back end.
What do you do if somebody has a very bad rating and they object?
That's a great question because it's a clear differentiation against other Q&A platforms. Q&A overall is an exploding market. I mean, the volume is absolutely phenomenal. We think that we actually cracked the business model for the Q&A market because we make the approach very personal, and that's why we're able to charge for it. I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
The question is, what if you get a bad rating? Like if somebody says,
the key difference relative to other Q&A platforms is that users have complete control over what they want to ask about, whose feedback they solicit for themselves, and what they do with respect to content dissemination. You want to push it to LinkedIn? That's fine. You want to push it to Facebook? That's fine. But it's inherently yours to learn from and benefit from.
okay. And now, let's get some useful feedback.
Practical advice. Go ahead.
You have a limited amount of time up there, and you started off about 30 seconds talking about man's relationship to technology, and then you finally got into the issue of the relationship of individuals to each other. So I think you wasted about 30 seconds of the time that you had, and I know that you're nervous, so I appreciate it.
I really like your presentation. Don't forget, angels have attention deficit disorder, and pictures and cartoons are very good. So I applaud you. That's independent of the substance. For the substance, I'm going to have my daughter do due diligence on you, because she does all my social due diligence.
By the way, diapers.com is our favorite website.
Okay, fantastic. And I think with the great success of cloud, there's a need for some of this stuff. Cloud is doing like 3 billion downloads a day in terms of getting cloud scores. So if this works, it's got a big market. The other suggestion I get is you get the URL brand.me.
It's been taken.
Oh, it's been taken? Okay, you may want to buy it. It's a nice one for you.
If I become your first investment in October, we'll buy it. But thank you for your
I may be contradicting John here, but I found it very distracting to have a video going on behind you at the same time that you were talking. Maybe I'm just limited here, but I can't watch a video and listen to you at the same time, even though there wasn't sound for the video. It was really distracting for me. I would much rather have had something still where you talked and used the slides to highlight what you were talking about. I think that'd be a lot more effective. I think what you're doing is interesting and deserves something where I can really follow both you and what's going on the screen at the same time. One thing that I didn't hear was, and I'd like to hear a bit more about is what's the science behind this, and why is this more than something you guys slapped together and said we read this in a psych book and it looks pretty interesting, let's get it up there. If there's some real science behind this about reaching reasonable conclusions based on this kind of model, which I suspect there is, it'd be valuable to bring that up, I think.
I'd like to introduce you to Stuart, who's 25 years of kind of backing up the science and making sense of the way you ask questions and the way you tabulate them.
Great. Yeah, I suspect it's there. I just didn't hear it.
Very valid.
All right.
Paul, do you have any additional comments?
We got 20 seconds. We can cram it in.
To some degree, it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I mean, it's kind of self-selecting that, the cool people are going to get good grades and the not so cool people could get not so good grades. So I think somehow you have to really prove the efficacy of it to make it work. I don't know how you do that. I mean, so if there's a way you can prove the efficacy, that would be interesting.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
To address that offline because that's a really critical component.
Thank you, Ilya. So if you want to vote for Ilya, it is pound ultralight and at brandME2. Perhaps somebody had at brandME. So next
Probably
we
people who had brand.me.
Probably those people, the arch enemy of brandME.co. So we have Kelsey is up next. Don't forget to vote for your panelists as well, whoever gave the most insightful advice. And you can go ahead.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right. Remember when you used to use this to call up your travel agent or to book a restaurant reservation? Remember how easy that was? Or actually more like how frustrating that was? Orbitz, meet airlines. OpenTable, meet restaurants. Parties, meet me. I'm Kelsey Recht, founder and CEO of InstEvent.com. Why did I found InstEvent? I founded InstEvent because just how it used to be frustrating to book a trip to Las Vegas, Nevada, it's just as frustrating to book a private party at Nevada Smith's right around the block. So this is a $10 billion market characterized by organizers that are time-strapped, prefer to do their research online, and often lack expertise. They're left wanting by venues that are not transparent with pricing and availability, and often are recreating the wheel via pen and pencil for every event. So how do we solve this problem? Our solution is a central booking platform for organizers and lead generation for venues coupled with automated booking processes. My CTO behind me, Jonathan Katz, was instrumental in building out and scaling the paperless post platform. I have experience planning events. I also have 4 years of finance and business development experience and a Kellogg MBA. We've signed up 125 venues in a matter of months, and we're already generating revenue into the holiday season. What we're doing is we're raising a seed round to build out the platform and to expand our sales and marketing team. And I just want to close with the fact that as an entrepreneur in this space, I see more and more opportunity every day. And I'm going to leave you with a story about the inefficiency of this market. I work with a venue manager named Betty, let's call her. When her venue is booked, she calls up another venue friend, she books that venue and pockets the spread, which sometimes can be as much as 100% relative to what the client paid for it and what she rented it for. That type of spread is only a few people in this room are used to that type of spread. But I'm not talking about venture capital or angel investing. I'm talking about an inefficient market that's ripe for change, and InstEvent's ready to do that.
All right. Perfect timing. Okay, panelists, questions?
For Kelsey.
So how do you plan to scale this? I'm assuming this is in New York right now?
We're just in New York. So there's over 1,000 bars and 2,000 plus restaurants here in Manhattan alone. So we're starting here in New York, and then we're going to expand to Chicago and San Francisco. And the way we're going to scale it is we're going to go out and find people that are already well known within the venue space to go out and sign up venues. I mean, I signed up the 125 personally myself in a very short period of time. And the reason is venues love private parties. And so it's a huge monetization stream for them. So yes, we will need direct sales, but people are very willing to sign on for this type of thing.
Maybe I'm missing something. What does it mean to sign up a venue? I can call any venue right now myself and say, would you want a party?
So the thing that we get...
say yes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, the way we sign up venues...
Yeah. So why is it so hard to sign up a venue?
No, what I'm saying is that it's not hard to sign up venues because... Sorry, was I not clear? Basically what I'm saying, it's easy to get venues up on our platform. What we're doing is we're trying to get up as many venues as possible because we understand that there's a scale issue here initially with venues, and we have the classic chicken and the egg problem, that the more venues we have on the platform, the more interesting it is to people. However, we're focusing on just venues first, but there's lots of ways to expand. I mean, we could do flowers, photographers, bands. I mean, there's lots of other things that go around events.
Maybe specifically, the user says, I want a party, and they specify what kind of party in a location is what I saw. And that's all they have to do, and perhaps a price category.
So
and then you're behind the scenes saying, great, I know what you want, and we'll get back to you? How does it work?
So basically what we're doing is that's what we do now, but we're actually building out the back-end tools for the automated matching right now on the front end, and also streamlining that on the other side for the venues, and so that they're going to have an actual booking platform that they'll be able to use. For example, I was talking to a high-end restaurant chain last week, and they're telling me that every time a customer picks their menu, they're recreating the wheel, and they're going back and forth over email about that menu. And so there's tools that we're adding to the back end to make them sticky on the venue side, which means that all of that information will be available to the front-end organizers. Did that answer your question? Kind of.
And can I ask, do we have any questions in the audience? Because we want to get some participation if anybody is... Oh, right there, all right.
What's to say that somebody, after finding a venue on your platform, will just contact them directly?
What keeps somebody who's found a venue on your platform from contacting them directly?
So that's definitely a risk, but what I'll tell you is that where we want to play is we want to play in the small to medium-sized events market where people are not contacting a venue anyways. And so, for example, if you're booking the back private room at a bar here in New York, you're not necessarily going to call in and do all of the same stuff that you would say for a wedding. However, if we do migrate up the value chain, I mean, there are some ways that we've thought about ways that we could be sticky and be able to address those types of events.
Okay. All right. Sorry, just time for that one question. Now we need the valuable feedback, directed, targeted,
actionable.
Actionable. That's the word I was looking for.
Right. This is a very dysfunctional market, and most of the people actually use paper and pencil. A lot of them don't even have fax machines, so it's a really bizarre market. So it's ripe for somebody like you and other people to get in and actually commercialize this. I think the big issue is how you're going to get to your customers, customers being people who want venues.
Yes.
And that's really the big challenge in what you're trying to do.
I do, and we've got some strategies around that. I mean, obviously
You're just here to listen and
This is
absorb.
listening.
Oh, that's fine. Well, I'll answer that offline for you.
Okay.
I'm curious about. This seems like a problem that needs to be solved, but it also seems to me like a very much a niche problem, something that may not ultimately support a standalone solution. So do you see this morphing into a more broad-based aggregation of the kinds of services that bars and restaurants provide through a common framework, or is this something that you see growing significantly by itself? I think I guess I'm asking you a question which I'm not supposed to.
Those are statements. You're
yes.
stating that you should be thinking about this.
Yeah, I think that's certainly something that as an investor I would be thinking about. Is this a company, or is this a point solution to a problem that should be part of something bigger? And so that's a question that I'd urge you to think about a bit and have maybe in the course of thinking about what the exit might possibly be at some point in the future, what this thing looks like in 3 years as a company, so on.
I've seen so many plays in the event space, and I would expect that you would have some kind of wow factor. You figured something out. But what it appears is you've created a reservation front end that talks to human beings in the back end that goes out to these different places that you're going to have the parties and creates the party event, right? There should have been something a bit more wow to it.
Okay. Well, one of the things...
No, you're not allowed to. Not allowed to.
You're doing that because I don't have a...
That's right.
And, for a full disclosure, I'm an investor in POGB, a venue reservation system.
Great. We've got 30 seconds, Paul.
Any other feedback?
I think you're trying to create a market.
Into the mic, sorry.
Yes.
So you're trying to create a marketplace, so you should just say that. And then the issue is, I think John talked about it, is that, this is something that would work in New York and Boston and San Francisco and LA. But outside of that, is there really enough to make it, a major play? I don't know.
Okay,
Wonderful.
Time.
Okay, thanks, Kelsey.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so to vote for InstEvent, it is pound ultralight and at InstEvent, InstEvent. And also feel free to vote for your favorite panelist or panelists. So now we have Alex Kombos, who you'll find perhaps has some similarities with this past event. And the people up there's a couple chairs if you want, right down in the front and in the back and around if you want a seat. And then on deck we have Chaz Mee of Brouha. So whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you for having me. And, thank you also to InstEvent giving me 2 more minutes on my explaining why this is needed for this market. I'm here to present EventNow. EventNow is a startup that deals with the problem of sourcing vendors for your events. It basically helps people to get vendors for a party or event that they're throwing. It's completely free for consumers. The way it works is instead of going onto Google or the Knot or Wedding Wire and look through the directory, people go onto EventNow. They tell us what they need, what their budget is, how many vendors, and then the vendors compete to get the business. It's free for the consumers, and the vendors only pay a small fee between $1 and $30, depending on what kind of service they signed up for. We also have a new service that's coming out in a couple of weeks. It's called 11th Hour Deals, which is a platform where venues and other vendors like DJs and bands, etc., can offer canceled dates and abandoned dates that they have as a deal in order to recoup their losses from canceled event. The way that works is it's a listing fee for about $100, and then consumers can go and reserve the date and the rate for another $100. This basically gives EventNow the opportunity to increase engagement and lower the CPA. So far, we've launched in the tri-state in New York City, as well as Southern California, from LA to San Francisco. We've subscribed about 44,000 vendors We've sourced about $9.2 million in event budget since October.
All right. Questions?
So this is a real company. What are you going to do this
Oh.
year?
So, what are your revenues for this year? You're projecting?
575, something like that.
Are you going to make money? Are you going to lose money?
We're going to probably lose money. Not probably. Definitely.
That sounds like a great opportunity. I would definitely want to.
We put a lot of money in marketing and getting the acquisition of the vendors and the consumers and getting this marketplace started. That's why. We've already engaged with a couple of companies for a substantial Series A, and we need to expand in about 25 cities in the next year and a half in order to make this a multi-million-dollar company. We've proven the model, and it looks like it's working.
It's more that we've met, and you've come a long way, so congratulations. But the issue about choosing a vendor for an event is more than money, right?
True. Yes.
It's quality, reputation.
Yes. It's quality, reputation.
Right, so why isn't, is there anything in here about social ratings, that the quality of the people are being...
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Good to know.
In a minute and a half, you can't really describe all the services, but we have 3 different services. One is the lead generation, we call it Instant Match. The other one is social referral, which is kind of a filtration of the lead generation, where vendors can not only opt in for gigs through Facebook and our Facebook app, but also through other users, not only their friends, but other users who have used a similar vendor in the same area. And then we have an online bidding kind of dashboard service. So the
users could rate. The people who use the services can rate.
Yes. It's all about getting the marketplace active enough to get user ratings. Yeah.
Now, I assume that at events, certain venues have restrictions on what kind of vendors are approved for that venue or can participate. And do you handle that type of stuff?
Yes, vendors have different needs. There's some that have a restriction on XYZ other kind of vendors, complimentary service. Others have a restriction on budget, meaning I don't want any event come to me that is less than $3,000. So yeah, the control panel and the admin panel that these vendors have accounts for all of that. We've done a lot of research.
Do we have a quick question from the audience? Right here.
So if I'm organizing a wedding, can I also get a DJ and a cake and a limo at the same time?
So if I'm doing a wedding, can I get all my vendors, DJ, cake, all of that at the same time?
Yes, you can. And the way that we do it is even if you just go and ask for one, let's say for a DJ, and you say that it's for a children's party, we will recommend also rental for a bouncy castle as well as catering for finger food, etc. So it goes both ways. The user can request it,
right,
or we'll recommend it.
Actionable feedback from the panel. Who wants to start?
John wants to start.
John.
Yeah, I want to echo the importance of what Brian said earlier. I was at a loss here until I learned that there was at least a strategy for getting social ratings into this thing. It seemed like it was a must-have. So definitely make sure you mentioned that right up front. I think for the whatever time you were up there, all I could think about was I can't imagine just clicking into a menu and saying I want a DJ and not knowing an awful lot more about them and about what their reputation is and so on. And then the trustworthiness and validity of that reputation is also important. And I'd be curious to know how you establish that early on when you don't have that many users. Because I think without that, it's a real tough sell.
Thank you. Good point.
I wouldn't listen to anybody like me. I think you're putting points on the board. I think you got a real business, and I think that's really great. So if you can raise money, I think that's really super. You're doing a super job.
Yeah, the only comment, I'm much more of a word person, and you used the word basically. We're sort of. There wasn't a lot of conviction in what you were actually saying.
Kind of like your pro is. It's clean, simple, It's understandable. Maybe a little more pizzazz, but that'll be okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so if you're voting for Alex and EventNow, it is pound ultralight and at @event_now. And then vote for your favorite panelist. Sorry? I believe that is the last of our event-related pitches tonight. But we have Chaz Mee of Brouha. Am I pronouncing that right, Chaz?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Ready? All right. I'm Chaz, the co-founder and CEO of Brouha. So first, a quick figure of fact. 5 to 10% of stores' best repeat customers drive almost half their sales. The reason I say this is there's a problem to solve here, which is stores have no way right now to spot their most valuable local customers. This is what we do. Brouha lets stores spot local valuable customers and automatically give them special treatment simply for them showing up. We do this using RFID. The reason we do this is it gives us 100% real-time accuracy within seconds of when customers visit a store. Our business model is an intelligent, centralized network of stores based on customer physical appearances. By creating a simple value exchange, repeat business through automating special treatment for valuable customers, we get real-time aggregate information of their customer foot traffic. This is how we make money. Brouha's value is the strategic asset of real-time customer foot traffic information, which allows us to see in aggregate, in real time, things like store popularity, customer visit patterns, changes over time to the way people visit stores in their neighborhood. Sorry about the cards. We have a three-phase plan. We've partnered with residential buildings in New York, starting with Williamsburg, to offer these local stores access to that valuable customer base. Phase 2, we grow this base from 12 residential buildings in Williamsburg to 300 all over Manhattan. Phase 3, we add hotels and expand to other cities. My experience is I have marketing experience. I've been a creative director in major agencies in New York City. And my partner, who's the CTO right there, built the RFID runner tracking system for the New York Marathon. Thank you.
Nice. All right. Questions?
For Chaz.
I'm a Bell Labs geek, so I need to know, how does this work? Explain to me what happens when somebody walks into a store.
The way it works is we have chips on residence cards that we partner with in the residence building. When they walk in, our antenna reads that chip on the card and lets the store know. And that's how all this happens. So it's an automated way for us to spot customers right when they walk through the front door, because there's an antenna right there.
So this is the Minority Report thing.
Yes.
The resident being the customer.
The resident being the customer, and the resident being the local customer, right? Not just anybody, but somebody who lives nearby the store.
I'm sure you're asked this. If 4 people walk in and it's one of the 4, how do you know which of the 4 it is?
It depends on, if there's a chip on the card, we know it because of the cards that originate from the resident building. So we can have different types of cards, but specifically because of the residence, that chip is attached to that information that says this resident comes from this building.
No, but if 4 people walk into a store and one of them has that chip,
and
they walk in pretty much the same time, how do you know who has the chip?
We know because whoever has the chip on their card, we can read that chip. We can read 200.
They have to come and give you.
No, it's automatic. It's in your pocket. You don't actually have to swipe or scan anything. In other words, our antenna senses the chip on the card in your pocket and automatically sends a message to your phone. They're synced. Your chip on the card, sync with your phone.
What's the incentive to get this card and carry it around with me everywhere I go?
Because every time you visit, it's like a clock to the store. We know in the background how many times you visited and actually how long you've stayed. So if you stay for 2 hours in a store, we can reward you for that.
Starbucks is going to have a lot of rewards.
Sai has a question right here.
Sure.
Have you looked at competition because Verizon, AT&T and stuff?
Yes.
Have you looked at competition? There are other people doing this.
Verizon, AT&T, and all these big service providers,
right,
including Google, Facebook,
Right.
We're going to do this without RFID. We're going to be using just the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about NFC. So NFC actually requires that you go, most of the NFC is point of sale. And it requires that you take your phone out of your pocket and hold it up to a scanner like that. The problem with that is that once you get to point of sale, you're kind of late in the influence cycle in terms of actually influencing conversion in terms of sales. So it's actually not the best place at point of sale to basically give somebody a deal. It's basically like being in a shopping cart, being at the end, about to pay for the thing, and then saying, hey, what about this? And pushing somebody out of the shopping cart and telling them to go find whatever it is.
Okay. All right. We've got to go to feedback. I know you had a question. You
Go ask a question.
make it
Go
quick.
ahead.
I'm concerned about privacy issues and what do you think
How do you handle
how well
privacy?
you understand
Quickly, 10
the
seconds.
privacy issues.
It's anonymous. It works like a wireless Metro card. There's no personal information. There's no actual sign-in. You sync the card to the phone. That's it.
Okay,
we have
now your
I'm not sure
feedback.
that alleviates it, but we'll go on.
Okay.
I've had two RFID companies. One of the companies was doing something similar. And what we found is the antennas and stuff like that was rather clunky, expensive, and hard to deploy. There's two technologies coming out which could impact you. One is there's an Israeli company which can sense the RF signature of your phone and recognize that you're in the building, in the room, for example. And then there's also what's called local GPS, where people map Wi-Fi. They map the Wi-Fi, so from signal strengths they can then tell you pretty accurately where you're at in certain buildings. So the functional thing is, the business is good, but I don't think the technology is going to be adequate for what you're trying to do.
I mean, you should probably lose the cards at some point. You know.
Is that it?
Anything
Brian?
else?
I mean, certainly loyalty is a big issue, but you're coming at it by the recognition of the individual coming to the store with all these variables, right? But you need to explain all of those variables and the reward systems that people get. I think that's certainly the critical component here. There's a lot of loyalty programs out there, but what makes yours different is, I guess somebody just walks into the store and they know that it's that person, and they.
If it's anonymous, you can't track it back to the person. How do you give them a coupon or a deal?
Because the card is synced to your phone. The card's in your pocket, your phone's in your pocket. That's how we know that person's walked in. Card belongs to a person, phone belongs to a person. All of that's synced.
What if people walk in at the same time and have cards?
It reads it separately. We can read 200,000 concurrent users a second.
That's it?
That's it.
Seems like a big weakness. Work on that.
Is there one question on the way back?
We see the stores that you walk into. We don't know your phone number, though.
But what if the FTC does come out with some sort of privacy concern?
They've tried to, yeah. They're focusing on GPS right now.
But this is increasingly a very concerning area for...
Agreed. Privacy is a huge issue, and that's a whole big conversation that, we
you have
can
28
have with
seconds.
Yeah. It's probably an hour and a half conversation.
All right. Anything else? Wrap it up?
Yes. I mean,
All right.
listen, anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, advice? Right here.
How many partners have you signed up for, like stores or buildings?
How many stores have you signed up?
We just launched, so we just started in September. We just are signing a partnership with a provider of residential buildings, so it's just kind of starting right now.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chaz. Okay, we have Aaron Rudenstine, or a delegate, up next, and Graham Clarke is on deck. In the meantime, we are going to acknowledge some of our sponsors. Let's see, is Peter Rothberg here? I think he is.
Saw him before.
I did see him before.
There he is.
There's Peter. Yeah, you can stand up or, say, you want to say something? Okay. Here's Peter. Breitler, Kalis, and Rosenblatt.
Actually, let me steal that mic back.
Hi, I'm Peter Rothberg. I'm a partner at Reitler, Kalis, and Rosenblatt. We are a proud sponsor of the ultralight events, have been for a while. And it's great to see more and more people come out every single time. The companies keep getting better. It's really very, very exciting. And what we do, I've got some of my clients are actually here. We are a boutique law firm that specializes in working with companies like yours. We work with a lot of emerging growth companies. We work with venture funds. And that's really what we do. We pretty much stick to our knitting. And we like doing that. And we make some money at it, and we help you make some money too. So enjoy yourselves. It's a really great event. One of my other colleagues is here. He's down at the back of the room. Raise your hand. And we're both here. If anybody wants to talk to us about what we do or how we can help you, please give us a call. Thanks.
Awesome.
Okay, thank
you, Peter. Anybody from Microsoft here? And if not, then David will tell us about BizSpark.
No Microsoft? All right. So, Microsoft BizSpark. Microsoft BizSpark is a global program that helps software startups succeed by giving them access to Microsoft software development tools, connecting them with key industry players, including investors, and providing marketing visibility to help entrepreneurs who are starting a business. Ultralight Startups is a BizSpark network partner. I didn't know that.
It is.
This is amazing.
It has been for ages.
Which allows Ultralight members streamlined approval to the BizSpark program. I could have used that. If you're built on Microsoft technology, or even just considering using it, definitely join BizSpark, and ask Graham about it because he didn't tell me. So
that's right. We're a network partner, so if you want to join, then you just let me know, and we will streamline your application.
Even still, it wasn't that hard.
Amazon Web Services. Everybody familiar with this? Amazon is built on the same world-class technology that powers Amazon.com. Amazon Web Services provides a reliable, easy-to-scale, low-cost cloud computing offering. Cloud computing. Startups and companies of all sizes around the globe use AWS to power a wide variety of web applications, including social gaming, mobile, e-commerce, media and entertainment, life sciences, and much more. To stay in touch, go on to aws.amazon.com or Twitter at AWS Startups. Cool. And that's it for our gold sponsors. We'll talk about the local sponsors later, but in the meantime, we will go to...
Yeah. Yes, question for the audience. We're breaking format.
I think this is pretty amazing. Could I just see a show of hands if you are looking for money now or you will be over the next 6 months? That's great. That is, Bloomberg should come and sit through this meeting. That's great. That's amazing.
Put that on the to-do list. Invite Bloomberg.
I will do that.
Okay.
I will. We'll take out that video clip and we'll post it on the homepage of Ultralight. That's right. That's right. We will get him one way or another. So Aaron, and it's not Aaron. It is Brittany. Brittany is here to talk about CityMaps, and Graham Clarke, who I see right here, is up next. So Brittany, there's the microphone. And
that's your mark.
Go ahead.
Great. Quick disclaimer before I start. Even though I'm not Aaron, I probably sound like him right now. But he wasn't able to be here today. I actually found out about CityMaps through an Ultralight Startups event. And I was just out of college, looking for my first job. I heard Elliot present here, and I knew it was something I wanted to be a part of. So I think that just speaks volumes about this event that 2 months later, here I am presenting for CityMaps. So. I also thought we only had 60 seconds, so this will be really fast.
Good.
Yep. All right. So CityMaps is awesome because even though I'm new to the city, it's really easy for me to navigate it just like a New Yorker. So if we jump over to Greenwich Village.
Love your mic.
And click on the Bars and Nightlife tab, I can see all the things that I can do in terms of going out around Greenwich Village. Now I can view the tweet at Half Pint. It looks like I can get a well drink for $5. If I click on Half Pint, I can look at the reviews, menu, all that information I would ever want to know about that business. Now let's say tomorrow I want to recover from being sick and find an awesome daily deal, but I'm sick of sorting through all those emails with, so many deals that I really don't care about. So if I zoom out on the map, all these blinking green lights are automatically linked to those daily deals. So let's see what we got. Looks like Spa Lab has a 68 off massage for me. So I can grab that deal without ever sorting through another annoying daily deal email ever again. And I'll make sure I make that appointment on time because CityMaps updates with MTA every 10 minutes so I know about any service changes on any line. So this is CityMaps. That's how I navigate my city and plan my night. How do you plan yours?
Nice.
What's the business? How do you make money?
So we actually have multiple revenue models, but essentially the real power here is, as you can see, this is a huge advertising platform. So when people are looking at this map, obviously that's a place they either are currently located or will be visiting. So we think that this is a very hyper-local, geo-targeted way to have these merchants meet their audience, whether it's through, a direct notification, hey, we noticed you're checking out this street, come in for whatever special.
Questions from the panel? They're speechless.
How do you sell advertising? I mean, how do you get to these local vendors?
So obviously, we're just trying to grow our user base right now. And once we grow that user base, we really expect a lot of people to be using the site, and they'll just come to us. But then we also have been approaching merchants as well.
I love the simplicity. So this is up and running now.
This is up and running now, and we're going mobile soon.
And so if I choose something, how do you get money from me? How do you make money from me for choosing something?
So with the right now we currently use a lot of APIs. We link it up to Groupon, Yipit, whatever affiliate programs, and eventually once we grow the user base, that will be something that they do directly through CityMaps, which in a way we're a lot more effective than those sites because this is, like I said, very geo-targeted, very real-time.
Question from the audience?
Can you break it down by sector? Is it just for consumer and like food, or can you break it down to a specific therapeutic, like say healthcare?
Yeah.
Can you break it down by segment?
That's the beautiful thing about this map. There's so many different possibilities in terms of what you can do. As you can see, we have, public services, hotels, banking, everything. So the possibilities for what we put on this map and the kind of content that we're putting there is pretty endless.
No follow-ups.
After.
We had some more questions, though.
Sure. How about in the back?
You extract this map in PDF and place it in a report?
Yeah.
Can you extract the map and place it in a report?
It's actually very easy. We make it, you can print, send, share the link. We actually have companies using this as an iframe and application for themselves. So we've definitely, the technology is already there.
Go ahead.
Who's responsible for keeping things up to date? Is that on you or?
No, so we actually have, that's kind of our secret sauce. We have about 5 different metrics that we use to make sure that this map is up to date. One of that is user feedback. So, if a merchant tells us, we update the map frequently.
And do you expect to put more than, to add to what information is available right now in terms of about the particular businesses so
Absolutely.
that it's more dynamic?
Yeah, that's one nice thing. It's a platform. So, whether it's Yipit or Yelp, whatever, we can add everything on there.
Okay, actionable feedback.
Who's first?
John.
You guys are so good already. There's nothing you can do to improve. Wow, they're entranced and amazed.
When's our next meeting, Paul, for funding?
How much are you looking for in terms of money?
That's a question you'll have to ask the founders.
Okay, all right. This is very nice. It's very clean. And I assume if you go into a new city, let's say San Francisco, you could get the data rather quickly? Is that
We've actually already mapped out San Francisco, and we'll be sending that soon. And we've made this very scalable in terms of...
Up your mic.
Okay.
Sorry, we've made that very scalable. We've already mapped out San Francisco.
Questions? Go ahead, do it.
No, comment.
Oh, comment.
I have a comment. I really liked the excitement and passion that you communicated in your presentation. I think that really helps a lot. when you're presenting to a bunch of people or even a small number of people who don't have any idea what you're doing, right, at the beginning. And just knowing that you're excited about it, you're passionate about it was, I thought you introduced it nicely and communicated a lot about the capabilities. From my perspective, what I'd like to see added is more about the business. Okay, any real speaking about the business came as an afterthought, as an answer to questions, and I think you have to flesh out the talk next time with a bit more about the business model and the opportunity, as well as maybe talking a bit about competition. There are a number of other companies that are doing stuff that at least superficially looks very similar to this. I think you've got some nice twists on it. I like what you're doing, but you need to put it in context a bit better.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Paul, any thoughts?
There's some big players in the space, so you have to figure out, when you're talking to investors, how you're going to be different and how you're going to, beat them. But I think it's pretty slick.
So we have a minute left. Let's just take a couple more audience questions because people are really excited. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand you've been live, but you haven't spoken about your experience in terms of number of visits, users.
How many users do you have?
What's the experience been, and how long have you been live?
How long have you been live?
We're technically kind of still in beta. We actually have a couple of major partnerships coming down the pipeline that are going to give us access to tens of millions of users. So that's really exciting because it's kind of the idea. We use their marketing budget. We use their existing users to partner with them to get access to those. So right now we're just, really building the site, and it's live. You can still use it, but we really expect that user base to grow this next couple weeks.
No follow-up.
Yeah.
One more quick one. You've already asked a question up front. Okay. What about mobile? What are you doing for mobile?
That's actually a question I asked when I...
Quickly, go ahead.
Anyway, that's a question I asked when we got to CityMaps. We're rolling out as fast as we can. It will be available very soon. We already have all the features complete. We're just QAing it right now.
There you go. Coming soon. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Fantastic. I love the extra plug for ultralight startups at the beginning. And I guess the first opening set of pitches had an event-based theme. This one seems to have a daily deals-based theme. Graham Clarke here is formerly the organizer of Ultralight Boston. He's made the trip all the way down to pitch Dealicio. So at your leisure, Graham.
Well, thanks, Graham. I'm glad to be here. And so, as we've heard tonight, the deals are hot. They've been hot for a long time. I think we're in the middle of a fundamental change in the way that.
Just be close to the mic.
I'm sorry. We're in the middle of a fundamental change in the way that people buy goods and services. The consumer behavior is changing, and businesses need new ways to reach existing customers and to find new customers. Dealicio is an enabling service that makes it easy to run daily deals and flash sale programs. We then connect out to different distribution channels to help amplify the message across the internet and through these various channels. I think from my perspective, daily deals are hot today, but we call this transactional advertising, and the model is here to stay. And so long term, whether or not Groupon, sizzles or fails, I don't really care. We see a lot of opportunity outside of what people call the daily deal space today. So we make money in three ways: revenue share, SaaS price model, and then through setup and support fees. Let's see. And then our target market are companies who are in publishing and media. We have currently we work with some daily deal companies. We work with some internet marketing companies who have big sales forces on the ground, and we're talking to companies such as email service providers as integrating our service into their existing service offering. So transactional ad service that would go along and be integrated into something like an ESP or some other type of business. We have existing customers that include companies like Trinity Mirror Digital Recruitment in the UK, AdZoo here in the US. We've been in business for about a year and a half. This is our second...
That's time.
Sorry.
The last questions, you'll answer when we're great. All right, guys.
Yeah, so is this a do-it-yourself for the retailer vendor system?
We're an arms dealer right. No, it's not. Our customers are businesses that provide deal services to local businesses.
Clarify.
We're a white label service provider would be another term. So an example, would you like an example?
That would be good.
So one of our customers is a company that provides local search engine marketing services to small businesses across the country. They have a big sales force that's out in the marketplace. They use our platform as a value-added service that they provide to their customers where they can then sell our...
It's a deals engine? It's a daily deals engine?
It's a deals engine, essentially.
There you go.
There's a Groupon in a box.
Groupon in a box.
It's a SaaS model.
So if I'm in Nordstrom's,
yep,
and I want to offer daily deals, do I get your stuff out of a box and run it?
It's software as a service. So you call us up, we can have a site up and running in a day or two.
Okay.
You can brand the thing however you want.
What differentiation is there here? How do you keep me? Why can't I do this next week and compete directly with you?
I would say there are a number of things that differentiate what we do. One is that we're set up to work, our experience is working with commercial radio stations and creating a platform that is easily co-branded. So our typical customer use case is somebody who offers the service and then out to multiple brands. So it's very easy to set up a site, co-brand it, offer the service to somebody else. So they essentially people resell our service out into the marketplace. The other things that differentiate us, and we get this a lot, if you go out and you build your own technology, you have to go, what's happening now, there's a lot of consolidation and integration into various distribution channels that are opening up in the marketplace. It's very difficult for you as an individual to do that, whereas we already have these API plugs into that to help push out these offers into various channels.
How do you compare with Tipper?
We compete with Tipper. I would say the difference is that Tipper wants to own all the pieces of the pie, whereas people use our service and they can brand it, they provide the deals themselves, they can control the flow of the money, and so they own it. We provide the infrastructure and keep the lights on.
Quick audience question? Sure.
Is it pay for, I think I see it up there, pay for performance, or do I have to pay to sign up?
Is it pay for performance, or do you just pay to sign up?
Typically, what we charge an upfront setup fee and to get everything set up and running, and then we typically take a rev share.
Rev share. Nope. Sorry, that's it. That's all time. So now let's get our actionable feedback from the panelists. Dealicio. Is it Dealicio?
I got two comments. First, this is an extremely crowded space. There's anywhere from 600 to 1,000 companies in this space, and there are going to be consolidations. People are going to go out of business and so forth. So you're going to have a hard time getting some attention. And the other is, I don't like the name Dealicio.
Okay.
It's too similar to delicious. And I think you're going to get confusion with your name.
Well, at least in context, and it's certainly not clear to me how you do what you do. I got some perspective on it, but what makes you better or different? I didn't hear any of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just echo John's comment about the marketplace. I think, Groupon notwithstanding, there's some real issues in terms of customer retention and the whole business model of deals. I think that's going to have to kind of work its way out. But if you were in the radio space, if you're selling advertising across radio channels?
Right. Our customers provide the service to radio stations, and then we have the enabling technology that they resell.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there were in your presentation, again, it's I know you have a very short time here, but I think one of the key questions is about differentiation and ability to maintain that. It is a crowded space. It's a very immature space too. There's no clear sense of what this kind of online offering capability is going to look like a year and a half from now. And so it's, I think part of, as an investor, part of what I'd be concerned about is why are you the horse I should bet on here?
Sure.
Versus other people who may have a more primitive immediate model but have a whole lot of money and a whole lot of name recognition to get where they need to go in 18 months.
Right. Part of it I can't tell you here.
Okay.
All right.
Is that it for our feedback?
That's it.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you, Graham. So to vote for Dealicio, you would use pound ultralight and at Graham Clarke. That's Clarke with an E. And also don't forget to vote for your favorite panelist. All right. Charles is up with OnLock digital authentication, and Pritesh Damani is on deck. So
we're in pre-beta right now, so you're looking at the dev environment. You're the first people to see this, so please be kind. Okay, so when people talk to me about the legal industry, they think conservative, technophobic, and that's starting to change a little bit, actually. Law firms are moving online. Lawyers are tweeting, blogging, trying to figure out how to take advantage of online legal marketing. At the same time, consumers online are finding that they're being convinced by such new services as identity theft protection and novel legal services. You can go online right now, and you'll find that you can get help with your uncontested divorce. You can file your company documents. You can even find lawyers who are willing to bid on taking your civil case. What's empowering all these new services is actually the fact that there are networks of lawyers who are actually willing to participate at this point. At OnLock, we're looking to leverage our expertise with electronic evidence and document management to move into this online space and position ourselves as a leader for the online legal services marketplace. So, there are over 100 million court cases in the U.S. every year. There are 60 million, therefore, potential cases, people who can provide evidence based on regimented record keeping using the OnLock documentation platform. Let's take a couple examples real quick. So, we've got a few tech entrepreneurs here, right? And you want to make sure that people can't copy your software. You need to copyright. Using OnLock, you can submit your submit your version of, and you'll receive your version of your software. You'll receive a certificate of authentication. You can take that to court, and that will establish ownership for you.
Okay.
One of many things we do.
All right. So, to the questions. Panelists, questions?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say that I'm stunned that lawyers are using Twitter, because I can't imagine any lawyer I know being able to even answer the phone within the character limit of Twitter.
There's a bit of a generation gap.
Yeah, so is this just the baseline copyright, so that you send up whatever you have, and if it's music or some kind of other software as you were describing, and it says it existed on this day, and you prove that you have the document? Is that it?
There's a little bit more to it than that, but you're hitting on a very important point. So, the time frame, right? Not only do we establish time frame, we hash the document. We can provide some sort of technical characteristics to say that it's yours, along with metadata, etc. And then on the way out, we also provide digital signature, which the courts like. And in between, we make sure that nobody can modify. I mean, that's the core.
But this is a cheaper way of doing it. Are you also providing this as a lead to get the customer to come up to higher value services?
Exactly. I mean, our whole idea here is that we're setting the framework for a live marketplace with lawyers on one side who are looking for clients, and we can then evaluate their case based on what they've been able to share with us. I mean, we won't be doing that personally ourselves. We've got some case characteristics, metrics that we have to
And what are the top 3 industries you're targeting in order?
Well, I mean, to begin, right, we need to show some anterior need. You need to have a sense people need it. So, for example,
the copyright is great for us to start off with. I mean, companies, young companies, are a fantastic source for us. There's also immigration, which is a deal where you know that you're going to have to support various documents for your case. You got to show that you and your wife have been on vacation together at a certain time, what have you. Areas like this are the first areas where we'll attack.
Who's your customer, the user or the lawyers?
Both, but in the first case, we're consumer facing. So we charge the customer a subscription, $7 a month.
Question from the audience?
To start.
Right here.
Can I go into your site tomorrow and protect the software?
Can I go into your site tomorrow and protect my software?
I'll give you my card. You can go into the site in 3 weeks and do the same. I mean, we're getting there.
3 weeks. All right, one more. That was a good quick one. Yeah. How are you different from LegalZoom?
LegalZoom has lawyers actually they provide, I think, paralegal services technically. And so they actually have a back office staff with paralegals. We're more of a technology platform that allows you to basically construct your own case, tell your own story.
Okay. All right. Feedback. Panelists.
John's got some comments.
Yeah, I think I got a much better sense of what you're doing and why in your answers to questions than I did in your presentation. So I'd encourage you to really focus in early. You've got, in a pitch this short, you've got about 15 to 30 seconds to get me to feel like I really understand what you're doing right at the outset. Otherwise, the stuff you elaborated on in the rest of the pitch just kind of washes over, because I had a fairly different picture of what you were doing that was much less interesting at the end of your talk than I did at the end of the questions session. So,
thank you. We're all here in the innovative, creative economy. Every one of the people in this audience probably has something that they feel like they need to protect. I think you could have looked at every one of us and said, so as entrepreneurs, you've got either software, some perhaps music, some other type of document. Don't you want to protect that to some limited degree? Very limited degree. So I think you should have engaged your audience.
I'm not big into copyright, so I don't think they provide much protection. So I think if that's going to be your leading entry into the market, I don't know how big the demand for that is.
Paul?
I think there are a lot of companies out there that have really smart technology, VeriSign and folks like that could come in and put digital wrappers around content. And maybe the reason they haven't done it is that they don't think the market is that big. So,
I'll tell you, I'd like to talk to you about that afterwards, but the VeriSign's based on a slightly different model.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Alrighty, so to vote for Charles and OnLock, it's pound ultralight and at onlock.net. All right, so we got Pritesh up, and then on deck Sandira, who's our last pitch tonight. So Pritesh, go right ahead.
Up here.
Hi.
Here's your mark.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity here. So, there are hundreds and thousands of athletic communities across America, outside of America. What the common problem that we noticed with these communities were they did have websites. They occasionally have Twitter and Facebook handles. They put a lot of work in creating these communities, getting the athletes together, rallying up all these teams, and doing the grunt work to get them to the game field. But their social engagement lacks. With Winito, here's where Winito comes into picture. With Winito, what we give them is a social community of their own. They can create a complete white label solution for their own little social community, and this is completely designed only for athletic communities only. In a Hollywood style pitch, this is ning.com for athletics. And we have our first complete product called Winito Athletics, which is directed towards the high school and the early kid market.
It's completely ready, and we have active customers using us right now. The biggest charter school in the country uses us right now. They have more than 800 athletes. All of New Jersey State Golf is going to use us next year. And we're working on more advanced versions of our product, which is more of a brand, and we're going to talk to people like YMCA, Zoxport, to give them complete communities of their own. And the idea is to increase revenue through advertisements. And our revenue model is a basic subscription. We charge them a yearly fee. With bigger customers, we'll have a revenue share on their advertisement. Thank you.
Okay. 18 seconds left. Good job. All right, so let's go right into questions.
Paul's got something to say.
Could you say something? Could you elaborate a little bit more on the revenue model? Are you charging this? Are the schools' athletic departments paying for this at all?
That's correct. Like this school is paying us $2,000 a year.
Okay, I've got some experience in this space, and I think one of the issues is that it's very difficult to get schools to, athletic departments at scale to come up with any non-trivial amount of money on a subscription base. So can you tell me to the extent to which you've done some digging into what how many people are able to pay, willing and able to pay for this on a subscription basis?
So you're absolutely right about this. There are rich schools and poor schools, and we basically have two models where we give this product for pretty dirt cheap prices. We don't give it away for free, because if we give it away for free, they don't use it. So we give it away for dirt cheap prices, and we make money off advertisements. If they don't want any advertisement and they want something like this, which is completely branded for their own school, they have to. That's the subscription fee that they have to go with. So to answer your question, there's ad and non-ad.
You said it's more than just the management system for sports activities, right? There's a community aspect.
Exactly.
What is the community aspect?
So the community aspect is we basically broke down the whole sports model into different paradigms. A parent is a fan, a coach is someone who teaches you, a student or an athlete is part of the roster. So the idea is if Connor clicks on the login button on top, a parent could sign in actually and sign up like it's Facebook, but this is completely for their high school. And once you log in, you'll actually be able to see a profile very similar to your Facebook profile. You have your mailbox, you have your teams that you're a fan of, all the communication, all the activities that are happening in that team. You'll be notified on your cell phones, on your profile. You'll see the latest stream of updates that are going on. So once Connor logs in, you'll be able to see right on top he has his profile, and you're actually able to see exactly what's going on throughout the community.
Do I not see a donation button?
Yeah, exactly. The donation is a huge feature for us. Like in this economy, every school is struggling with donation. With this, you typically have a student who's connected to at least 1,000 direct connections to Twitter or Facebook. We let you push all this stuff directly on your direct connections, and people can come and donate directly to the high school. We don't actually keep any cut on this. The high school gets everything.
How are you going to stand out? I mean, how do you sell this stuff? What's the sales channel?
Right now we're a pretty small team. I'm the founder, and Connor is the head of sales. There are two people trying to sell this stuff. Right now we have direct marketing, whereas we're approaching schools through emails, and we pretty much have someone signing up every day. And the value prop is very simple, is because we kind of explain to them that you're building a community, a long-term community. So once the students kind of graduate, they're still part of your community. You can still reach out to them, which is a big deal. And nobody else does this in the market. We're the only players.
Okay. All right. Feedback.
We've probably seen, if not 5, 10 of these types of companies. So my only comment would be, it's really very, very competitive, but you probably already know that.
Yeah, you're right. It's competitive market, but bringing the whole social element and creating your own white label social community is something that we think we're the only ones who do.
So since it's so competitive, what can he do to stand out? How does he differentiate?
It's hard. It's very, very difficult.
Okay.
Because there's a sustainability issue. I mean, they want you to be around in year 5.
Yeah. It's true.
Because there is maintenance and there's all that. So
yeah.
Okay.
So you're
Brian.
running a school district or something like that.
You can the parents bet and make money and then give a share back if it's sports.
We did trade that idea, but it's kind of off limits. But but they are very engaged. Like right now, on an average, when someone visits our site, like once the community is established, they actually go to 50 pages, 60 pages before they leave. It's a very engaged environment because they put a lot of information into it.
Are you able to stream live events?
Well, we don't think that's our core expertise. We would rather partner with someone like, one of the already existing streaming companies. I don't remember the name anymore, but there are 2 or 3 in this space. We would rather partner with them. It's easier for us. We don't even do our video hosting because typically schools have YouTube video hosting already done or some other highlight video already done. We just let them push it in.
Done?
I'm good. I think the competitive question is really the one that I have. It's not so much that you're doing something that's...
You're giving feedback. Let's hear it.
Okay. I think the competitive situation is what I'm concerned about here. I'm sure you're doing something, at least based on what I've seen, you are doing a couple of things that are a little bit different from what other people are doing. But there's a limited number of choices that people are going to make in this space for how they track or get involved with sports online at the high school and college levels. And once somebody's made that choice, there are a lot of people competing for that limited mind share. And so even though you're doing something different, I think that you need to really be able to, in a presentation like this, you need to be able to show how you're going to stand apart from everybody else. Not just by saying, well, we do this and they don't, but if this is something that really displaces other people from this market and gets you to win, that's really important. And if you don't have that, I think you've got some significant challenges ahead.
I agree, and
you're absorbing.
Thank you.
You're responding. All right, and that's time.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Pritesh. So, if you'd like to vote for Pritesh and Connor and Winito, it is Pound Ultralight and at Winito Athletics. That's WINITO Athletics. All right, our last pitch tonight, Sandira.
Thanks
RideHack.
everyone for staying till the end, and thanks Graham for saving the best for last. RideHack.com helps you share rides to your favorite events and carpool with like-minded people. My name is Sandira.com. I have an MBA from the School of Hard Knocks. Started a company when I was 16, 18 I was at eBay, built a site, we sold it. I had no idea what equity meant then. Learned a lot since then. My partners, Marcin and Derek, are tech geniuses. So more of tech people than most New York co-founders. And besides having weird names, we have something in common. We love traveling. Now, I'm a woman, and as a woman and a passenger, I was not happy at all with the current landscape in the ride-sharing space. And it was the same with my co-founders who are drivers. They needed some incentive to go out and actively look for rides. So we built RideHack. Two challenges comes in general with with ride-sharing marketplaces. One is there's not enough drivers. That's very hard to find. And second is something that comes with every marketplace is trust and safety. So that's why we focused around events. Focusing around events enable us to have that critical mass of drivers, people that share interests. We're talking about 55 million Americans that go to events, not just fairs and festivals. I'm not even talking about the live events market, which represents $30 billion of revenue. Well, I guess that's it. Oh, sorry. How we make money?
You'll have to answer that as they ask. I'll ask. How about this?
Okay.
How do you make money?
Well, three revenue streams. One is we will enable booking, and so people can use our site or a system to book a ride in advance. We're also working with mobile partners so they can do it face-to-face if they want to wait to that point. Second is we are very close to events. So they have a lot of pressure to go green and they have a lot of pressure as far as transportation. People literally say, if I knew I could get a ride to Voodoo Experience Festival, I would have bought a ticket. So we're a very good partner for them. So that's another stream of revenue. The third one is affiliates. So if you're going to a Depeche Mode concert, we can push you the iTunes that go with it, and any types of products that you will find relevant.
Okay.
Wait, does the rider pay the driver for riding in the car?
So yeah. So by the way, I forgot to say that we launched really early. Like we shipped in 6 weeks because Burning Man endorsed us, and that enabled us to gather metrics. We thought initially like an average ride would be like $40. Turns out people were posting rides for like $200. So yeah, all the money goes to the driver, and then we just get a.
The driver prices it.
It's like the Airbnb model.
Tell me about Burning Man.
Yes. So they have their own ride-sharing program, which is like very old school, like most ride-sharing programs out there. And we contacted them, and they basically promoted us to burners.
Nice.
And that's how we got our first non-friend users.
There's the safety issue. I can't remember the company, but the woman who started Zipcar also went off and then started a company just like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she explained to me that security is the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you immediately get information on the person that you're in the car with for whatever period of time?
Sure. That's why I think she escaped to France after that. So how we do with it, we completely integrate with Facebook. So that already enables us to, work with the community. User-generated reviews. Again, it was built so that someone like me, could use it, and I've been using it. I went surfing last weekend, met an awesome woman, and it was a great experience. We never met before. Oh, sorry, and terms and conditions, like from a legal perspective, we have terms and conditions. We're a team of lawyers, also composed of a lot of women, so very paranoid too. So we take care of ourselves.
Okay. Feedback in the form of questions in the form of feedback. How about that?
You should talk to brandME so that you get compatible riders and drivers, and you say it's solve your security issue.
There you go.
A little ultralight going on. I like it.
That's the part where I don't respond, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, at least for me, front and foremost are the safety and liability issues, and I would have liked to have heard you speak about that proactively during your presentation a bit more. I think you mentioned safety, but I think that's such an important risk area that even after the questions you answered, I'm not totally comfortable with that you're safe from liability. So I think that's important, an important enough topic to bring up in your presentation and make a focal point of.
Okay.
Yeah, and it seems like another opportunity would be colleges to really kind of create a beachhead at various schools, because there are always kids looking for rides home into the urban areas. That seems to me would be a natural.
How do people find each other at a concert? Or you needed to tell people. You tell us, how do you find each other? How do you geolocate?
Every event has a directions how to get here page, and so the way we work with them is we're on that page, and then they can promote us through their other channels. The second thing is we're preparing a mobile app that will address that with geolocalization.
Want to answer a couple more questions?
Other questions? We'll take some if there are.
In the back.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility to do a social rating?
Absolutely. It's already on the site. It's been thought from the get-go.
Anybody else?
So if I'm driving to the Hamptons and I've got an extra 4 seats in my car, how can I make an extra buck?
So if I'm going to the Hamptons, I have extra room in my car. How do I make money?
Post a ride.
You just post the ride.
Post a ride, and we're built in so that we help you find people, and you can vet them. So basically, I'll ask to join your ride. Maybe you'll have 8 other people to choose from, and you'll be like, I like her better, or this guy is a non-smoker, it's better for me, etc., etc. And then that's how you build your ride.
It's really easy to filter out the axe murderers. They just check the box. And no axe murderers on this ride.
They tend to get bad reviews, so that's how we filter them out.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Sandira. All right. So that was the last of our pitches. So we're going to be announcing our winners here momentarily. And these are both the startup winners and the panel winners. Winner. So if you'd like to vote for Sandira in particular, it's Pound Ultralight and at RideHack. And if you'd like to vote for your panelists, now is a great time to do that. So if you see everybody up here, you go. How do we get these guys to shut up?
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. We're not done. I hear a lot of murmurs. Murmur, 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 murmur. All right. I'm going to start calling on individual people to tell them to stop murmuring. You, stop murmuring.
No murmuring.
I see a murmurer.
Voting.
I've got a murmurer with his back turned, not even paying attention to the fact that I'm berating the murmuring. Oh my goodness. Talk about powerless. This is great.
Okay.
All right, guys.
So
we have an announcement here.
We do have some announcements. We would like to mention our local sponsors. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to have people stand up if they're in the room, and we're going to acknowledge them. Indicate Media, Todd Barish, I believe, is not here. He is the one that helped coach all these startups on how to give their presentations, and he's also a great PR and marketing communications guy. So you might have been introduced to him over email via Brightmap. Seamless Web provided our pizza today. I believe Lori is the Seamless Web representative. Is Lori here? No? Well, that's a great way to order food online. Lemonade Heroes, we've got Aaron Sylvan right here. He is a photographer and has photographed this event and all these photographs around. So if you need your photo taken, talk to Aaron. Jay, Digital X Bridge, right there. Web design and development, mobile application development, search engine optimization, all your offshore startup needs can be taken care of by Jay. SourcePad, Rob Sherrod, in the back, yellow shirt, offers somewhat similar services. Offshore web design and development, mobile application development in the Philippines. You may be introduced to Rob, so go and find him there. David Carlos?
Me. I offer IT consulting services to small businesses, so if you need help getting all the infrastructure set up, the non-technical stuff like programming, we're talking about your email addresses, that sort of thing. You need servers. Come talk to me.
All right. This format has proven so popular. We have a full panel, and already all of the startups are pretty much determined with the 99% probability for next month. So Thursday, November 10th, these are our panelists. Okay. Esteemed. I mean, clearly they're not as esteemed as today's panel, but they're going to come in a close second, I feel. And Alan Brody. Is Alan Brody here? There's Alan. So Alan is never short for words, but okay, that's fine, as long as it's short.
Come, quick. You need a mic.
All right.
Come on down. And remember, you've got a Ustream audience out there, too.
So, thank you. We're famous for helping startups. And what you probably have heard some rumors about mHealth, mobile health, health apps are a hot market. In fact, you've heard rumors that the angel space in the digital area is getting a little crowded and some of the money is running out. That is not the case in mobile health. So, December 1st, in Pharma Alley, which is Rutgers, New Jersey, we are holding the first mobile health conference to enable you bright folks to bring your great ideas to those old rich people who've been making
fantastic. Okay.
Pharma.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Mobile health. Gary Milkwick, is he here? Right there in the back. I'm going to show some photographs. I have a montage here. These are photos that I took well, with the exception of the center one, which probably was taken from a helicopter, of Gary's offices. Gary is with the Tax Club and Corporate Tax Network, which is a partner of Ultralight Startups. And if you happen to want to run an event of your own and you're looking for a large event venue, there it's available. This gigantic room with that view, that's literally the view. Then you can talk to Gary and you can use his space, or if you know somebody who does. Ultralight may be there in the future, so it's in the Empire State Building. You can't beat that.
60th floor.
60th floor. Incredible views. So that's it. We have contest winners. So do we have winners? Anybody?
To be announced with great fanfare?
Al? You have? Okay. Okay, so these are in third place. Drum roll. All three of these companies win Amazon Web Services credit, media training, and an automatic bid to go to the New York Angels. Number one, or actually this is number three, Sandira and RideHack.
Very nice.
Congratulations, Sandira.
Last and definitely not least.
Number two, brandME.co.
Nice.
And the back. And the number one most voted startup in the room today is Aaron Rudenstine, CityMaps.
Nice.
However, we still don't know exactly who the winner of the panel contest is. So, anybody have more? I really shouldn't be showing this, but I think I'm going to say it's Brian Cohen.
We'll do it. Brian.
Congratulations, Brian Cohen.
People's Choice winner.
Well done.
Are we drinking?
Yes. Brian and John tied.
Oh.
Okay.
Which John?
John Ason. Okay.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I took a quick glance at that, and I saw Brian's name there. But so congratulations to both of you for your joint win here tonight. What did they win?
They win honor.
Win glory.
Glory.
They win. See, there's nothing we could give them. I mean, these guys are already wealthy investors that they're giving out the money to us. So what could we have possibly to give them other than the cool factor? So here's where we'll go for drinks. Right now, Murphy and Gonzalez, 2 blocks away, and we will see you all there. We have to leave, so I would say to the panel, got to get out the door.
Thank you. Great pitch. Good job. It's okay. I will keep the mic on as long as I want. When the room is empty, I'll still have the mic, and I'll be like...